Saturday Social, brought to you by EA Sports FC with PlayStation 5.
Right, next up we can see the Saturday Social whiteboard. New and improved this year, by the way.
Love that.
It's really nice. It's out in all its glory. So, Joe, what's the plan for this part?
Yeah, absolutely. There's been loads of big transfers, hasn't there,
Yeah.
so far this summer. So today we're going to task our guests to build the ultimate transfer 11 of the window so far. They've each picked an 11. They're going to battle it out player by player in debate to try and get their player onto the whiteboard in the 11. If you cannot come to a decision between the two of you, me and Smithy are going to make the call based on the best argument put forward.
Yeah.
OK, we're going to go position by position. Cool. Let's start by revealing who you think has been the best goalkeeper signing.
I've put Onana.
Oh, easy start.
Easy start.
Easy start.
And again, worth pointing out as well, they don't know each other's teams
Yeah, they
as well.
don't.
But you've both gone...
This is all
There's been
fresh.
quite a few goalkeeper transfers. Obviously, Raya's one of them to your club, but for you,
I was
still
close.
Onana.
I was close to saying Raya.
Really?
Only
Over Onana?
Yeah, because I think what we're doing is very good. Obviously, I think a lot of people were like, why are you getting another keeper? But in my head, it's like, you want two good goalkeepers. We're getting more flack for getting a top keeper than praise.
That's
But
one position you don't really see competition.
I don't get the argument. You should
but
want
it's
two
a
top
fact.
goalkeepers. We're competing on all fronts. You want, like, OK, look at City. Ortega can start for most Premier League teams.
He can't. He would not start over.
He'll start for Chelsea.
No, but he wouldn't start over.
To Sam's point, though, I have heard a lot of ex-pros. I heard Brad Friedel talking about it, Peter Schmeichel, a lot of them saying it's not that common to have two keepers at number one that are at a similar par level because it can
as well.
upset the dressing room. Do you agree with that,
It's a
Sam?
new wave, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it is a new wave
Should
because
be.
I think that's the type of having two top goalkeepers can cause disharmony in the side in a sense of if you look at any team. The goalkeeper is normally certain. They rarely get injured. They play most of the games. You're used to them. And Ramsdale's been good for Arsenal. Yes, he had a few blips last season, but you don't get in a player that can replace him when he's literally stepping into his prime. I think that it might work, but I've not seen it work before.
I think it's going to work, but
Well, you've agreed with Onana then.
Yeah.
So
let's put Onana.
I want
Onana.
I'm putting my one on.
Onana's incredible.
So that's 1-0 to me because my
Shout out David Raya, Vicario for Spurs as well. Been a couple of new signings,
Absolutely.
but you've agreed with Onana.
Let's go to the full-back situation.
Right back.
To start with. Jurin Timber versus Marlo Gusto. Now, we saw Gusto last night, but I'm going to point this out. Is he a starter for Chelsea in your best 11?
You can argue that Timber might potentially.
start. I was about
to. And to be fair, the only reason because I was in between both of these, but because he's injured for majority of the season, I was thinking if I'm picking an XI, I'm not going to pick players that are out injured. I'm thinking if they're going to start. And I think Gusto, a lot of Lyon fans love him. When you talk to any French expert and ex-players, they say he's the future of French football. I think he's incredible. And I think yesterday...
The future of French football. They've got so many top
they've got top players. But I think he's going to be incredible. And I think he's going to be a player that you look at and say, if Reece James is injured, Chelsea are fine. And yesterday we saw it.
Jurin Timber,
Listen,
such a shame.
it's such a shame.
Yeah.
Play
he's
anywhere
really
across the back four. You've seen him play left back in the Community Shield and left back in the opening game of the season. He could play right. He probably would have played a lot more games at right back. I was so happy about the signing, man. Like this guy, we're both born in the same city, in Holland. Me and this guy. So already had a fandom towards him. And then on top of that, he could play anywhere across the back four. He massively improves our defence.
Great in the Community Shield, wasn't he?
Great in the Community Shield. Like, everything about him, I was a big fan. I even tweeted in pre-season. I just seen him play 5 minutes against MLS All-Stars, bro. That's it. And I tweeted, Jurin Timber's perfect. I swear. And
Did he reply?
no, he didn't. But I was at Arsenal's pre-season tour. I was
Love
presenting
it.
and I spoke to him a little bit. But,
Class.
yeah, I was so upset when he went down. But it's regardless, though, if you take that out, everyone, you got to admit, this was probably one of the best signings.
Yeah, I think for the
position.
price as well. And if you're talking about ready-made fullbacks,
Yeah.
I can accept that because I almost put.
you
I
can
almost
accept
put him-
that?
Yeah, I can
I
accept
think
that.
it's fair.
OK,
Real shame with the ACL injury as well.
1-0. Sharky there.
OK, let's move on to centre-backs. Let's reveal the two centre-backs
Yeah, let's do it
Both of
as a
them.
pair. Let's do it as a
that you've
pair.
done as a pair. Don't forget, this is any player that's moved this window. It doesn't
haven't
just
seen each
have
other's.
to be.
I haven't seen them.
Yeah, it doesn't just have to be Premier League players either.
You're lying. This is
an agreement.
That's good. That's good.
Exactly.
Both gone for Kim Min-jae and Josko Gvardo.
No way. Yeah, Kim. I'm going to talk about Kim quickly. Kim Min-jae, wow. What a player. He was playing in the Chinese Super League in Beijing, I believe, and Spurs could have signed him under Mourinho, and you guys didn't.
I know
right?
that.
You didn't want to pay, what, like
Sound gutted.
7-8 million pounds. You didn't sign him. He went to Fenerbahce, had a great season, and then Napoli sold Koulibaly, which was their best player, best defender, everything, and he was effectively Koulibaly's replacement. No one expected much he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
He was voted Serie A best defender.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of decent defensive talent in that league
And then they
as
won
well.
their first league in how long? And Bayern Munich signing for a good deal, good price as well. I think this is an
Yeah,
unbelievable.
43 million.
I was
you're right
surprised.
about
I was
that.
surprised United didn't go. They were linked with him for a while, but I was thinking if you're looking for the future of your defence, I think he could be one of the
Only
best
26
centre-backs.
as well.
He's very young. He looks like he's so assured in his positioning. He's versatile as well. What I've seen from him when he came on in the game that at the start of the season when they could have won their first cup, he looked
Super Cup against
Super Cup,
Leipzig.
he looked incredible. I was surprised that Tuchel didn't start him, but you can tell now that he's going to start every single game because he is so solid.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
let's go Gvardiol.
Yeah, I don't think there's a better left-footed centre-back that has been signed this window. I think he's probably the best young centre-back in the world.
If he's raging about Mickey van der Ven.
Yeah, I like the look of Mickey van der Ven, but I mean, I'm not. I totally agree with you. I think Gvardiol is a unique talent, 21 years of age. I mean, I think people forget how young he is as well. I think he's fantastic.
Worth the money, do you think?
Yeah, if you look at the prices
big
that have
price
been, the prices in this window, they're going for hundreds of millions. Over most of the top signings under the age of 25, you're going to get a lot of money. If they're at clubs where they've signed long-term contracts as well, and the clubs are valuing them at that much, I think Gvardiol is an upgrade on Laporte in terms of what he can become for City. I think what Laporte done for City was incredible, but he's just solid. Like, I don't know if there's a better centre-back.
Speaking of Laporte, I could not believe more clubs didn't come in for him for the price tag he ended up leaving for.
Big wages,
Proven
though.
Prem player.
Big
Yeah, but
Injury prone, that's the only thing as well.
Top
After
player, though,
he
in
had
his
that
day.
knee injury, he'd never been the same.
OK, let's kick
Still a
Gvardiol out
good
then.
player,
And go on to the left back.
This is a sentimental one for me, to be fair.
OK, who's the sentimental pick? Lewis Hall versus
Lewis Hall.
Fran Garcia.
Yeah, let's get your thoughts on Lewis Hall as a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, I was really gutted to sell him. I think most Chelsea fans were as well, but you can understand when you've got so many young players coming through and that you're buying as well. When you look at his opportunity to get first-team minutes, it would have just been too difficult at left-back. He also can play in centre midfield as well, and he's been really decent for there in the academy. When you see all the coaches talk about the best players that have come through the academy, Lewis Hall is up there.
Yeah, I think a lot of Chelsea fans I've seen agree with you on that. That's the thing, because he's come through the academy, he's English, he's only 18. You've obviously spent a lot of money investing in players in similar positions, and yet obviously Chelsea's outlay has been widely reported. You've got a player there that will be ready-made, and a lot of Chelsea fans really like. Is that where the frustration comes from?
Yeah, but it's also unfortunate because we had Ben Chilwell, he was in and out of injury, and then signed Cucurella. Then Lewis Hall came into the team when there was a few injuries, when things weren't going really well, and then he thrived. And he was one of those players where it would have been unfair to see him sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
And then when Newcastle come in, a team that your family loves and you're a boyhood fan, you can't even be sad, upset for him going. Like that's a great move for him, and I think he's going to be one of the best fullbacks in the league in a few years. Man.
Good move. Fran Garcia, I think this is incredible business by Real Madrid. A friend of mine, Faisal on SDS, is a big Real Madrid fan, and he raves about this guy so much. So with Fran Garcia, he came up through the youth system in Madrid.
Yeah.
They sold him to Rayo Vallecano, had a very good couple seasons. Last season, I think he made the second most progressive runs into the final third of any player under 23 in Europe from left back. He's such an attacking fullback. They've needed someone like this.
They've needed left back for a while, haven't
Since
they?
Marcelo, because Ferland Mendy's done okay, but then he's tailed out.
Yeah.
This has been incredible. And they had a buyback clause for €5 million.
Yeah,
They only
it's so
bought him
cheap.
back for $5 million as a transfer, and now he's been flying this season.
I love Lewis Hall, but I think the value of Fran
insane,
Garcia
like
at the
5 million.
buyback.
On loan though, on loan for the first year. So,
Yeah, but there's an obligation in there, isn't there? Let's get Fran up
buyback
there.
Yeah, okay.
Let's move into the midfield, shall we? We might be able to. I'll tell you what. Let's get the three midfield names out and see if there's any agreement in there that we can just get straight up on the board.
I've gone really attacking in my midfield.
Okay. Is there an agreeable name in there?
OK, so can we just go to Sam first? So let's go Sam first, then. You reveal the three that you've got, Sam.
I've got
before we
Jude
go to
Bellingham,
Sharky. See the show
Gundogan.
the camera. You've got Jude Bellingham.
Oh, where's the camera? There
There
we
we
go. Jude Bellingham, Gundogan, and Madison.
OK.
I think. Yeah, go on.
I was going to go Gundogan, to be fair. I went...
Sharky, who
Jude
you got
Bellingham,
with?
Mason Mount, and Declan Rice, holding it horrendously. So you both agree on Jude Bellingham.
There we go. There's the come on.
Just
Jude
get
Bellingham,
up right now,
Mason
because-
Mount, and Declan Rice.
Because, I mean, just one you very quickly on Jude. Scored again last night,
player,
didn't
man.
he?
Oh.
I mean, is that
4 goals
his
and 1
first
assist
three?
in 3 games.
He's still only 20 years of age, you know
he
that?
looks like he's been
Leader.
there for years.
Yeah.
I think Kepa had a few moments, scary moments. He went over to the fans and started saying, like, cheer for this guy. Like, he just has the leadership qualities that is just
What a player.
incredible. And he's so
Everything
young.
about him as well, the way he speaks in the media, the fact that he's trying to learn the language as well, how he integrates, and as he speaks on the pitch, it's like he's a senior player already.
It's insane.
So you both agree with that one.
Yeah, it's obvious pick.
What's the disagreements?
Gundogan has to be in this team.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie. So we'll put Gundogan against Mason Mount, but for me, who else have we got in there?
Declan Rice and
who's that?
James Maddison.
I don't know. For me, we spoke about Declan Rice early in the show. I think what a signing he's been. He's going to be for Arsenal, and in general, we needed Declan Rice, someone like Declan Rice. We've got Thomas Partey in there, but he brings so much.
So it's Declan Rice v Gundogan.
Well, it feels weird doing that.
Yeah, you
because
can't
it's
do it that way.
attacking
You can't do it that way.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
More central.
Gundogan, Declan Rice.
I
I think it's got to be between Gundogan and Declan.
Okay,
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Okay, for me, I'll go Declan Rice.
You cannot tell me that there's not been a better value signing than Gundogan going to Barcelona at a time where they can't sign players for too much money. He was arguably one of the best midfielders in the world for Man City when they won the treble. Getting him for free is a steal. He still looks like he's capable of being one of the best midfielders as well. He's a leader. He's going to help Pedri and Gavi improve their game. I think this is one of the best signings of the window, regardless.
Listen,
I don't think
you're right.
Sam's going to back down on this one. It looks
No,
like
the
he's
thing
very,
is, I understand.
105.
And there's a reason I tried to pit him against Mount and not Rice. Because I was like...
Because you're happy with Gundogan,
I wanted
yeah?
to, yeah, I'm happy with Gundogan.
Okay, so
I
let's
was
get
close
Gundogan
to
up. So that leaves one spot for 3 midfield options.
Very
Maddison
attacking, man. You need a
or
defensive
Mount?
midfielder.
No, it's fine. This is
Is it Maddison v Mount for this one?
Or Rice could still be an option. You
That's
could
what I'm
go
saying. For me, I don't mind
It's quite
Rice.
defensive, isn't it? Rice, Bellingham, Gundo?
I don't know.
They both
you've
can
got
play
Bellingham,
quite
Gundo and
defensive
Maddison.
as well. They're quite versatile
Yeah, you
as
can,
well.
you can play two in it, yeah. So it's-
And Timber can go into the midfield, you know, if you want to.
Maddison, one of the best bargains of the window. I think the 40
Easily,
million.
easily.
For sure. I mean, a lot of teams wanted him. Okay, I mean, probably Mason Mount's not going to probably get in there, but quickly talk about Mason Mount. I have said earlier in the show, I think he's a very good signing for Man United. I know he's getting a lot of stick. I know he hasn't started really
Getting
well.
too much stick as
Yeah,
well.
I think it's unfair. I think he's getting too much stick. I think he's a top player. Obviously, you know, as a Chelsea fan, coming up the ranks, he's been a top player, and I think he's got so much potential to become one of the best midfielders in the country. I just think he could play midfield, he could play further forward, he could play out wide. He's such a good player for a team, and I think United right now just hasn't got the right systems in place for someone like
It's
this
gonna
guy.
come.
But it's going to come,
It's gonna
and
come.
I'm going to put him down because I wanted to argue Declan Rice.
No, I think just on Mount quick, I think the timing is what's off. But I think Maddison, in terms of like midfield generals, creative midfielders, the age, the price, I'm actually surprised that a lot of teams didn't try and rival Spurs and say, we'll give you 50 or 55 million.
Signed him for under 50 million, only 26 years of age, 2 assists on his Tottenham debut, loads of goal involvements even last year when Leicester got relegated.
And he's already vice-captain. Like, if you looked at Spurs and said, OK, you're going to lose Harry Kane, your best player in your history, and you get in a player like James Maddison, for me, I've said it for a few months now, he's going to be that personality that Spurs fans rely on to, you know, get them going when things aren't going right. He's already vice-captain. He's already got 2 assists. You can already see the Spurs fans are relying on him to be that creative outlet. So I think this is one of the best bargain signings of the window.
Okay, we're going to have to
Stick him on then.
Yeah.
Lovely.
No, I've got to say, I'm a massive fan of Declan Rice. I think with the value for money angle that you said.
All right, let's go
That's why I'm sticking Maddison
let's go
there.
to right wing.
I've got
Let's
my
go to
fullback.
right winger then. Who you got as your right winger?
Right wing.
Oh, they're unsure.
Leo Messi versus
Who are you looking at?
Ousmane Dembele.
I mean, Lionel Messi is the best player.
He's already won a
ever.
trophy with him.
Yeah, they're creating
He
trophies just
scored
for him,
every
to play.
game. He scored like his first 5 games
He's
in a row.
played like every 3 days. I'm sure that's not supposed to happen. Obviously, Messi is the best player ever. But if we're talking about a team that's trying to reinvigorate what they stand for and what they want to achieve, I think if you're going to lose Lionel Messi, Neymar, and then start again, having a front three of Ousmane Dembele, Mbappe, I think Ramos, they're linked with Muani as well. I think that is PSG are set to look really good, and I think that's a great signing. He was really good for Barcelona. They didn't want to let him go.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing transfers, best transfers for a team, what they brought in, right? And I think as a whole, what he's brought, not just for the team, for the league, for the country, they've got the next World Cup coming. You know, I think this is a great transfer for Miami and for the MLS. And everyone's been watching MLS clips. Everyone's been seeing what's going on there. This is the greatest player of all time. And I think as a transfer, this one of the best transfers in the window. It's Messi. How many viral clips have we seen? How many celebrities are going to the game? We're talking about best transfers. Not always just about, oh, this player is sick and he's gone to this team. It's also everything around the transfer. And I think it's one of the best transfers of the window.
But we expect that from Lionel Messi. It's hard to look past his quality.
It's an incredible sign for Inter Miami, you know, who struggled so badly last year in MLS that it's such a shock. Like when he was chose Miami, when there were the other options across Europe, Saudi Arabia.
But the deal is incredible in terms of
yeah,
like, what he's going to get.
But it's still a shock, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's still an incredible
It is, but
He deserves the deal.
No, but
He works for
it's
it.
a move that he's making to, you know, end his career. Like that's what we're saying. Realistically, Dembele, this could be the start of something new, and they've needed this type of signing. They wanted Messi to be that player, Neymar as well.
We need a call.
You guys pick.
You're not backing down?
I just, it's really tough because it's two different types of signing, isn't it? I'm going Messi.
Yeah. we can't not have Messi. And it's me.
Tell me Dembele's
go.
going.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Let's go to your left wing.
Left wing, yeah.
Who you got left wing?
Oh my God.
Neymar and...
He's injured, Diaby. He's
What a
literally
signing,
injured.
though.
You can't tell me. I am Neymar's biggest fan. Joe, you know he's like one of my favourite players, and I almost put him there. But you're signing a player that is injured and is not going to be able to play for the first.
Al Hilal is my team. I've picked. That's my team.
Yeah, and that's fine.
I've chosen that team, and he just signed for my team.
But let's just touch on Mr. Diaby as well. Because
he's a right winger, no?
Yeah, he does kind of play out there.
He does play out there, and it was a bit tough.
Remember that, though. Remember that.
But there are wingers nowadays quite versatile. Moussa Diaby can play on both sides, and I think what he's going to do for Aston Villa in terms of keeping them in that European conversation and for trophies, I think he's going to be great.
Do we go, because we went with legend in the last one,
be Diaby here.
do we go Diaby for this
Has
one?
to.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Diaby,
Said
yeah.
Diaby.
Final pick, striker. I think you both agree on this. Harry Kane.
I'm so happy for him, man. I can actually support him with my whole heart now.
Yeah.
I supported him when he was at Spurs. I
didn't.
I got so much hate, but I was still doing it.
Yeah, you're a big fan of Kane, aren't you? Even when he was
He
at
was
Spurs.
my favourite player in the Premier League.
That move just still got like a lot of people debating, didn't it, over would you have moved, you know, Premier League
Close to the
records,
Premier League
blah,
goal
blah, blah.
record.
That.
Which side of the fence do you come down on?
I honestly don't get how you can think you can stay in the Premier League just to score goals, to go to the best team in Germany to win. If they do just win the Bundesliga, even having that experience is great. But to challenge for the Champions League every year and being their focal point, why would you turn that down for a record that could be broken after you? It doesn't make sense. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, but I'm happy that he made the move.
Stick it on then. Let's talk no further about Kane because seeing the Bayern shirt is really upsetting me. So that's all we've got time for. There is confirmation of Sam and Sharky's team. That's the best 11 of transferred players this summer.